Lights, camera, action.
Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to add a new element at the beginning of a list. In the previous video we created the list, then in the next one I added a node to the end of the list. In this one I'm going to add the node at the beginning of the list. So here how it will look like. First I will give the values of the nodes, first name, family name and the age. Let's say Rebecca, family name, and then age 46. So then I will traverse the new list and save it to a file. Here is the new node created. The only issue with this, with the results, is that the ID of this created node will be a negative value, but you can solve this issue by, for example, traversing again the list and affecting new IDs, or by simply adding a user input here. Instead of automatically calculating or automatically assigning the ID, you give the hand to the user to give the ID, but it's not ID, so the first solution will be better. So in order to add a node to a beginning of a linked list, I don't have to traverse the entire list. I will just have to retrieve the list and link the newly created node to the beginning or the head of my list. So the code is almost the same as the previous one, the code that related to the previous video, so I'm going to use the same structure. But here I'm going to use the newly created file that I created in the previous video, and I will save my new list in a new file. Use the same pointers. First I'm going to retrieve my list from file, so I will open the file and then retrieve the list. Here the most important element, or the node that I need here, is this one, which represents the head of my list. So my newly created list will be directly linked to this one. So the next field of the newly created node, the one that I want to add, will be linked to the head of my list. So here I'm going to read the nodes from the file. After that I'm going to close the file. Here is the last node of the list, but I'm not going to use it. And then I will read the values of the new elements I want to add. But before that I did this. I created the link, which now my node is added, even if it hasn't information related to the different field, but I've already linked it to my list, so now it's at the beginning of my list. So here there's one small problem, is that the IDs are updated automatically by the program. So here since it will be the first node, so it will have the first it will have a value of ID less than the value of the previous head of the list. So if it may be a negative value, so we may have negative values here. Then I will have first name, family name and age. So in order to solve this issue, it's possible to review the rules used to set the values of the ID, but since it's not the point of this video, so I'm going to let it this way. And after that, here what I've done is just that the newly created node will be the new head of my list. So later, when I want to traverse my list, I will have already the new node, so the newly created list. So this way I will access to this node and I will be able to save it to my new file. This is the same code as in the previous video, so there is no difference. The only difference here is the file I've used to save my new list. If you have questions about this subject or other subjects related to C language, please let me know in the comments below. Bye.